some of one of your Instagram posts.
Hey everybody, just waiting for David to come on here. He'll be on in a bit, but thanks for joining. Hey Sue. Hello, hello. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you.
Or you cut yourself.
No, I cut myself shaving today, so I got a little cut right there. Hannah, how are you? Good to see you. Hannah, I'm not drinking Starbucks Oster. There's David. Let's see if he can figure this out. If not, I'll request him. There he is. Couldn't get it yet, Hannah. There's David Miller.
Hey, hey!
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I got a fuzzy screen. Hang on.
All right. Clean it off.
Uh,
Could be, maybe if you go the other way around, so the light is behind you. I mean, in front of you. And then turn. Oh, that looks gorgeous.
Wait, what? No,
So turn it around so the camera, the light is.
There we go.
Oh,
There we go.
there we go. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. It was such a beautiful morning here, and then it just got. It has to be like 50-mile-per-hour winds.
Uh-huh.
It's insane.
Yeah, we had that up here. It was really beautiful in the morning, and then it just got really cold, overcast, and I thought it was going to rain again. I was hoping it wasn't, and then it didn't. It's fined up quite nicely out.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But you already got a drink. I was waiting.
I got my drink going. You got a little margarita?
Gonna make a margarita.
Margarita. So all of David's fans, so I'll say a little bit about how we know each other while you're making your margarita, and then you can jump in. So David and I met about 17 years ago, a little over 17 years ago. We did a production that Baz Luhrmann did of La Boheme on Broadway, and David was Rodolfo, the tenor, and I was Marcello, the his cohort, baritone cohort.
Cohort. Good
Yes.
word.
So that's how we got to know each other, and which was an amazing experience, life-changing experience for both of us. And then I know, you saw Bohemian previews. The Kern was great. Nice. And then, you know what? I know I've heard this story a little bit, but do you want to give us, it can be as long as you want it, but how you got into Il Divo when we were in LA?
Right. Well, hang on one second. I can't do two things at once. I'm a tenor. Okay. There we go. It's not very margarita looking. It's actually seltzer water and some lime, but cheers.
Cheers. Okay. So when did it all first start?
So Bohemian Broadway had closed on Broadway, and then we remounted in LA.
Yeah.
And then as that show was coming to a close, I left a little bit early to go sing a show in Italy, to sing a Rigoletto in Piacenza.
Yeah.
And while I was there, an event happened that is not entirely uncommon in Italy, in the opera world. They're very protective of their art form. And sometimes they can get a little antsy when foreigners are singing their music. And I kind of caused a little bit of a scandal in the town and was let go from the production because it was just too small of a company to handle scandal, and there's like whole centuries of history around this, claques and all of that. So a claque, which is a group of people who basically just show up to either cheer or boo the person that they love or the person that they hate, and a claque showed up. They were out to get me, and they just booed every single time I opened my mouth.
Are you kidding me? I didn't know this.
Nope, it's just a thing.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
And it was the longer version of the story. I'll do the longer version. I don't really tell this one very often. I had some friends who came for the second performance, and they were in the audience, and they spoke Italian. And on opening night, it was a big scandal. And they were there for the matinee of the second performance, and they were speaking to people, and just everyone was like in the lobby. They were gunning for me. They were ready. It was like they brought their tomatoes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. And they started speaking with them. So, well, why don't you like him? Well, it's because he's American. Blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, he's got kind of a distinguished career. He just did the Baz Luhrmann La Boheme on Broadway, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, they made friends. So I go out to do the second performance, and I sing the first aria, Questo Quella. And then, same as it was on the Friday night, just boo, just kind of coming from one side of the theater, all one side of the theater. And then my friend and their new friends, who had been converted, started the bravos. So bravo, bravo, and not to be outdone, the boos.
Oh my God.
And it was just doing this for a minute. I was looking at the conductor. I was like, what do I do? And he's going, he was German.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the help.
He was German. He was like, we don't do this in Germany. I don't know.
Oh my God. My friend
Anyway,
Jeanette,
consequently, what's that?
Jeanette, who you had dinner with at Wallflower that night, just popped on and said hello. So
Hello.
okay,
Oh,
so
we
what
have
happened?
comments down here. Look at that. Oh,
I know.
well, they
you
go
can
by
see
really
everybody
quick.
on there.
What's that?
You can see everybody who comes on there. Everybody's like popping up and saying hello.
Ah,
That's Paige's mom just said hello.
fantastic. They go by so quick.
They do. They do. So what happened after?
So what happened was, after the second performance, because of this kind of war of factions going on, the company was like, this is scandal. We can't handle this. And they said, we're going to have to let you go from the production. And so I was like, oh, what do I do? And my agents, they sent me on an audition tour of Europe. I had yet to do one anyways. So they were like, all right, we're going to put you on a train. We're going to kind of work you across Europe and heading towards UK. And they, as it happened, they found me a covering position at the Opera Bastille for Roberto Alagna in Manon, de Massenet. Mm-hmm. And I was there for a good 4 weeks. And while I was there, I heard about the audition for this group that an English record company wanted to put together opera singers singing not opera. And that's as much as I knew. And I showed up to the audition. They did the audition in Paris. And I showed up, and I guess, I'm not quite sure how, but it was Sebastian's audition as well. I think I crashed his audition, or he crashed mine. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. But both of us kind of made it through that initial process. And then we were brought over to the UK to kind of do a final process, put all 4 guys in a room, go into the recording studio, which I had never done before, and see if our voices blended. And they did, and they picked, I think there were 3 of us that were finalists, and they picked me, and that's as much as I knew. And we just basically went straight into the studio and started working on stuff, started working on My Way and Unbreak My Heart, and yeah, it was a crazy process.
Yeah, I can't even imagine, because your life changed, within a flash.
Yep, overnight.
Completely changed.
Completely changed.
Yeah.
I had never worked in a recording studio before. We did that recording of the Bohème,
yeah.
But that was in a big sound studio, and you had the mics over there, and you just
amazing. That was at Skywalker Ranch. We did that at That's always still the biggest thrills of my life. Speaking
of Skywalker,
nice. May the 4th be with you.
4th be with you.
And you're margarita in Cinco de Mayo, a little premature Cinco de Mayo. Tomorrow you have your margarita.
That's true.
Cinco de Mayo.
That's true. We should just make it a whole weekend.
Absolutely.
Weekend's over.
Paige's mom, Michelle, just said that she loves Hand of Bridge, which is something that you had started. Now, tell this whole story about Hand of Bridge, about what you had started on it and everything.
Yeah. Well, A Hand of Bridge is kind of an outgrowth of something that I had started since the beginning of Il Divo, which was to try and capture what was going on. The record company had said, this is really interesting, this is new, this is different, we should be getting this on tape. And I said, I'm handy with a camera. give me a camera. I'll catch what I can. So I did, and this was, this was 2004. This is pre-Facebook. This is pre-anything. This is YouTube was a thing, I think, barely. And so I was just kind of, just filming whatever was happening, and but there was no platform for it. So I taught myself how to edit, and I just started making these really rudimentary things and hosting them on my own website. And 15 years later, it really became like a passion and became a hobby. And so at a certain point, I realized I had a certain amount of facility that creative things were starting to pop into my head as to, what else could I be doing with a camera? And the idea of I would love to make filmed versions of operas popped into my head. So I started working on some storyboards, and the first thing I created was a storyboard for like the overture of Romeo and Juliet. And I had actually pitched it to someone for funding, and I'd gone so far as to get like a storyboard artist, and we'd make design, la la la. And I pitched it to someone for funding, and she said,
"Wait, you froze. You froze."
Hello? Am I there? Hello?
You're back.
So I pitched it to someone for funding, and she said, "These drawings are beautiful. This is going to be amazing. I'm not giving you money." Well, why not? I thought you said this was beautiful. I thought you liked this. She said, "Yes, but you've never done anything before. You've never done, you've kind of caught fly on the wall documentaire style of Il Divo. Yeah, and that's all great, but we're talking budgets here. We're talking costumes. We're talking wardrobe. We're talking lights. We're talking sets. We're talking cameras. It's a lot of money. I have no idea if you can handle any of that." So I'm okay. And I said, "Well, what should I do?" She said, "Well, why don't you film a scene or something? Film, something short or something bite-sized, and we can see what you can do with a camera." And so that's when I got the idea of Hand to Bridge, which was actually my senior directing project in college.
Oh wow, David! I had no idea that's what got you to do this micro opera. Which, if anybody who doesn't know, it's only 9.5 minutes or something like that.
It's the shortest opera in the repertoire.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And and it was actually my senior directing project at Oberlin. I stuck around, and I was there for 5 years. Got a master's as well, like condensed it all into 5 years instead of 6.
Yeah.
Just like the benefits at Oberlin. And so it was a master's of opera theater, and I had to do had to take costume design, had to take lighting design, and had to take directing. And I had already started working. I was playing, in my final semester, I was playing the first armored man in Magic Flute.
Nice.
Up at Cleveland. And so I couldn't be there for rehearsals, and I couldn't be there for the final performance. So I struck a deal with the teacher. I said, "How can I don't want to fail this class." And she was like, "Do you know anything about film?" I was like, "I'm handy with a camera." It's like a running theme in my life. So we struck a deal, and I borrowed my my voice teacher's big old VHS camera, and put it together, and so that was almost 30 years ago at this point.
Holy
so I
crap.
dug that out. I was going to show this to that lady. I dug it out. I was like, "Oh, I've done that. I filmed an opera scene." Dug it out, and I went, "I can't show this to anybody. No. This is terrible." Oh my gosh. So I will recreate, and I will put up the cash to recreate this thing and pull all these people together. And I started with the whole storyboard thing, and I showed that to the first person who saw that was Frank Boren, who he was directing our TV commercial for Amor y Pasión on that album for Il Divo. And I said, "Hey, I really love what you're doing. I'm trying to get into this. I have a project I'm working on. Can you point me in the right direction of what's my next steps with all this?" And I showed him the storyboard, and he was like, I'd love to help you pull this project together. So that's how that relationship started.
That's fantastic, man. That's the one thing I have to say, and people who know you and know what you do, and they know how much work that is. But what I respect about you is that when you're not working on Il Divo stuff, you're constantly working on something. There's just something that fuels you in a fire, that you don't just sit around and drink like me. You always have something going on, and you're always like exploring different avenues. And I think that's been something that's so cool. Somebody asked where they can see the film. Is Hand of Bridge out right now?
Hand of Bridge is not yet out. I've put up the soundtrack and the song Hearts that plays in the credits in the playout. Those are up on bohemisphere.com on our store. And I was going to put Hand of Bridge up for sale March. It was going to be, and that was like my next thing to put up and like make a big old announcement about it.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened. And I thought, ooh, this is not the climate for asking people for money. This is not.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right.
But content is needed now too, I would think.
Yeah, content is needed. But the idea of asking for people for money when everyone is, ostensibly should be staying at home.
Yeah.
Would you? This was in March when the whole world just shut down.
Would you try to do a theatrical release, or would you want it to be like in-home stuff?
No, I think I'm just going to release it on the website off of bohemisphere.com and just keep it real kind of in-house with that. But yeah, it was just such an interesting thing. I was like, this isn't the time for asking for money. So I decided to kind of switch gears and to create a situation whereby I can be of assistance for people and use some of the things that I've created to generate some income, and that's what Actors Fund and that whole thing.
And I want to get into that because I think that's something that's so cool that you're doing. Michelle asked again, and are you at a point right now where like you're happy with where things are with the film, or are there things that you wish you could still go back and reshoot if you had all the time in the world?
No, I really don't. It went so far beyond what I was expecting it to.
David, I was objectively blown away by what you accomplished.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I knew it was your first thing, and I was just happy to be a part of it, but to see how well it came out and how organized and everything, and I know within the chaos of filmmaking period, but it was incredible.
Well, I definitely the whole experience was a massive learning curve for me because what's that?
I can't even imagine.
Well, it was an interesting process because I had been observing all through the entire Il Divo thing, and I was handy with the camera and yada yada, but each time we made a music video, I was always looking over everyone's shoulders. I was just fascinated with the whole process. Yeah. Watching the technology, watching the organization, kind of this hive of people everyone had a job at a function and they all kind of cross collaborate. How does this work? And this and that, and it was the same even with the albums where I would always want to sit with the producers and just learn from them. Yeah. And just kind of sponge up everything that I could. And so, Frank is what I would call super genius. He just has this mind, like he sees things in a different way. Yeah. And so to be able to have him as a mentor could not have been better. He challenged me on a lot of my ideas and brought fresh ideas into the mix. He said, what if it was like this? And I was like, no, it has to be like this because blah, blah, blah. And sometimes if it was like really story driven, he'd say, okay, we got to do it that way, but find a more creative way of kind of navigating it. And other times he's like, what if it was like this? And I would say, well, I've got no reason not to go in that direction. Why not? And so it would take the storyline off in a completely different direction than I had expected. And it was such a collaboration between so many talented people that, to answer your question, I don't think there's anything I would change about it.
That's awesome, man, because I know what a perfectionist you are. So to hear you say that makes me feel good that you got exactly what you wanted out of it.
Yep.
Let's talk about Il Divo and where Il Divo was before this COVID thing happened. Mm-hmm. And you have people asking, are you guys going to come to Turkey? Are you going to do this? Yes, I saw your question and we'll get to it here. Where were things with Il Divo before as far as touring goes, and have you guys even thought about afterwards and when it might happen?
Yeah, we were actually poised to go to be in South America right I think it was the day before we were supposed to get on a plane and head down for rehearsals in Mexico, and everybody just basically started closing up immigration and saying, look, we need to go into lockdown. So we went into a just kind of postponing ad infinitum, kind of taking, well, let's postpone the shows. As we get closer, we'll take another view. If we need to postpone again, we will. But yeah, we were in, it was an encore run of the last tour that we did, of the Timeless tour that we had been taking around the world. And so, yeah, we're fully expecting to get back into it. It's just, we have to make sure everyone's safe.
Yeah.
That we don't run ourselves into any sort of logistical health situation.
Stuck anywhere, or it's.
And we have been working on another album as well.
Okay. Good.
So in the middle of this, we've been cultivating and crafting a new album, and that was meant to come out this summer, and we were in the process of kind of finishing up things with that, and then COVID hit, and it was a crazy situation. Our producer Alberto Quintero is Spanish and lives in Spain, and he, when they went into lockdown, it was like military lockdown. And you cannot leave your house unless you have proof that you're going somewhere, and you have to go there and you go home and that's it. And he couldn't get to his studio to continue the work on making the mixes and things like that. So again, just postponed until such time as we can, get things back on track.
So I would assume that like an album coming out there's a lot better chance of an album coming out sooner than later, whereas the concerts, I mean, people are asking if the concerts will be rescheduled. But I think that's a secondary or tertiary question right now. First is like, when can any concerts of any kind be happen again? And then you have to figure out scheduling and all that stuff. So there's so much up in the air right now that it doesn't even, asking that question doesn't even really make sense, because.
Well, I mean, we're continually asking the question anyways, because we're ready, and anxious and hoping and hopeful to get back to all of these places. We love being on tour. We love going to South America. And it was really, it was one of those things. I mean, Carlos was already there. He was already in Mexico ready to start rehearsals, and we were about to fly in, and it was like, should we risk it? Because there was only a handful of places that had really closed up tight. It was like, can we work around? Can we navigate? Can we still do this? We really were trying to get to those places. Yeah. Because South America, we love South America. The people go absolutely, forgive my French, ape shit.
Yeah, they do. I love it.
Because so much of our music, we sing in Spanish, and they love it. It's tunes that they know, and they are a wild crowd. That's so awesome. Vocal, so into it. All just like, from the minute the lights come up, it's just, wow.
Much fun.
You feel like Elvis or something.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So fantastic. So what have you, so somebody asked about a solo album, and then we can kind of segue that into what you've done. But what have you been up to now in this time off? Besides guacamole, watching Sarah make bread, you're gardening? She
makes the best sourdough bread.
That's amazing.
Better than any store-bought, better than any restaurant we've been to. I kid you not. We have to bake 2 loaves now, because as soon as they come out of the oven, one is gone. David has that. Yep. And then we have the other one kind of lasts for a week.
just a little salt and some butter, and that's all I would need on that stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Good.
But yes, and also gardening. I've been teaching ourselves about that. Started with a few herb plants that were already, you can get them in the store, like a basil plant or rosemary, and repotting those and cultivating those and learning about different kinds of soil.
Yeah. And
then she started a kale, kind of putting seeds.
I saw that was hilarious, actually.
Amazing, and they look great. Like I'm salivating over that too. But yeah, I have been working on a solo album, and been doing it kind of in between all of the Il Divo album works and in the touring, and it's actually been I think 2013 was when I first started the idea of having a solo album, and my conductor Stephen Mercurio, he and I kind of hatched this plan of creating an album of French artists. And almost immediately on the heels of that, I started like I have creative ideas popping in all the time, and I don't really ever slow down. I mean, you said that before, but
Yeah.
it's almost like a mania sometimes. It's just like creativity, and I fully, you know, give all credit to that towards my mom.
Yeah.
My mom and dad. My dad has passed, but so my mom, if you're listening, it's all because of you.
I haven't seen your mom in ages either. Hi, how are you?
She always encouraged every creative thing that I was ever attracted to, whether it was musical instruments or when I found my voice or wanted to go into theater. Yeah, she was always encouraging of that. So I just took that love and encouragement and kept running, and I never stopped.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, so we 2013, we started that French album, and then almost on the heels of that, the idea for Hand to Bridge popped in, that whole movie thing. And that went through its course, went through 30 different film festivals, and you know, did very, very well. And I was in the process of creating my first feature film of the opera Pagliacci. And we had gotten to a certain stage where the next stage required a different caliber of funding than I was able to do myself.
Sure.
And so that kind of got a pin put in it, and then it was like, wow, did I start an album 4 years ago? Wasn't that a thing? So I dug that all out and started working on that again, went into the studio, and a funny thing happened. The first version that came out, it was okay. It was okay. You know, the high notes were there, the voice was there. But I did not realize that 15 years of singing with a microphone and 15 years of singing with in-ears as well.
Yeah.
It was mostly the in-ears. It wasn't so much the microphone, it was the in-ears.
Yeah.
Having your ears basically plugged and having, you know, sound go into them and giving you a semi-accurate sense of your voice in space.
Yeah.
It was only semi-accurate. You actually disconnect from the bodily function of singing, and you start listening so intently. And this,
especially classical singing, it's like it's a body experience.
Yep. And just this started doing different things, and nothing was unhealthy. It just was not the same as I was expecting it to be, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And then we had a big chunk of time free from the touring, and I went back to Bill Schumann. I went back to my voice teacher, and I just said, let's dig into this. Let's dig into what's going on. And Sarah Joy, being an impeccable set of ears and knowing my voice inside and out, she was able to drop nuggets, and Bill was able to drop nuggets, and then all of a sudden the whole thing went, and it was like my full opera voice was back. So then I had to go back into the studio, re-record the whole thing.
Oh my
Start
God.
from scratch. Had to start from scratch. So that was also on kind of poised, like with Hand to Bridge, and the album's called Revolution, and that'll be out at some point this year. But again, it just didn't seem.
Is it being mastered right now? Have they started?
That?
Is it being mixed and mastered right now, or what is?
Yeah. I'm actually releasing it in chunks. The current trend is to do EPs, extended play singles, and so I have about 2 CDs worth of material that I'm going to release in what I call 4 acts. So like Act 1 is ready to go. It's mixed, it's mastered, it's ready to, you know, we've done all the artwork. It's ready to drop. Act 2 is ready to go. Act 3 needs a little bit of zhuzhing. And Act 4, I still need to get into the studio to record it.
Now, is there a narrative behind these acts, or is it just
kind of?
Meaning, like, is there a through line through it all, or?
There's not a through line in terms of storyline. There are kind of core
Okay.
nuggets that each of the arias kind of revolve around. Like the first one it's very La Boheme centric.
Mhm.
It's the duet, it's the aria, and also Faust is on there as well. And these were kind of my signature roles across
Yeah.
my career. So kind of like a reintroduction to my voice as an operatic voice.
That's fun. That's fun. That had to be
Yeah.
fun for you, actually.
The whole process was so much fun.
Yeah.
And Act 2 is all bel canto repertoire. Act 3 is all French repertoire, and then Act 4 is kind of everything that my voice has graduated into. Now being in my late
So much
40s.
fun, man.
Yeah, well,
What a great idea.
so they all have a theme, and it's a
Yeah. Somebody asked if you're just coming into opera, and I know a lot of your fans are probably being introduced to more classical voices and everything through you guys. What operas would you suggest as like fundamental operas for somebody to watch that they can get? Because not all opera is easy to digest. So,
That's so funny you say that. We have Sirius XM, and we play in the car, and periodically we will put the Met radio station on, and I don't know if it's just my timing or if they actually play Wagner and Strauss all day every day. Because that's what I only seem to be able to find is I'll be like, what's going on at the Met on a broadcast? And it's like 1960 version of Die Walküre. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And tune in the next day. Oh, it's Siegfried. Oh. I love Wagner. I think it's beautiful music.
Yeah.
I think it's challenging for an opera novice, for sure.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would say
I
top
would say
five.
Butterfly. Anything Puccini, I would say more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Butterfly is very heavy emotionally,
Yeah.
amazing singing, amazing music. La Boheme, of course.
I agree. I think dramatically and everything, it works. It just works.
Mm-hmm. I remember it's still stuck with me. Konstantin Kistopoulos, and he was our conductor, and I remember the what he was saying, and he did the scholarship around it and looked at every single tempo marking, and said, and with a metronome went through every single tempo marking, and the whole show is really only 89 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's no longer than that. That's not how long it's supposed to be. Everyone takes their own tempos, and during the 60s there was a very luxurious period where Bohème kind of really slowed down. But I think the pace of that story, it's a gorgeous love story. It's gorgeous music.
It's youthful.
It's vibrant.
Ryan Hill says that he thought you guys quite enjoyed all 6 hours of Parsifal together, so he thinks you're David's gone. He's down. David down. Devo down. Devo down.
I fell asleep.
Did you really? I mean, I think you're not the first person who's fallen asleep at that.
Well, look, it's beautiful music. It's very cerebral as a piece, and that particular production was so meta, and like I had no idea what was going on. I didn't really know the story to begin with. I just wanted to come in like, what if I was an opera novice? What if I knew nothing about Parsifal, which I did not? It was really to see Jonas Kaufmann, and to hear his voice, and he was fantastic. It was amazing, and it was an amazing production. It was like, oh, but just not understanding, not connecting with the language, having to, I once upon a time I did speak German, but anymore it's in such disrepair, my skills around that. So, and I'm looking at the subtitles in the chair, and I'm trying to connect with that. And I'm like trying to figure out what in the heck is going on up there. And the music is beautiful, and it was warm. And
it was dark, and yeah, it happened. I'm getting old, David.
Well, this was.
Hold on, we got a couple more questions here that I'm getting from people. Retro question. How was it determined which pair sang which tracks on the La Boheme cast recording?
Say it again. Who was what?
How do they decide who sang what tracks on the La Boheme cast recording?
Oh my gosh, I
don't know.
We were split up by acts. Well, I mean, it was an interesting situation to begin with because we were double and triple cast. certain roles were triple cast and certain roles were double cast, because it is a, you know, it's a big sin. And we, as young singers, there's no way to accomplish 8 shows a week of that show, you know, and it's just not. It's just,
No.
and I remember there was that
Even
one.
though you did 8 shows, you did an 8-show
I
weekend.
did. I was just gonna say there was that one time where we all got sick in February, everyone but me, and I did 8 shows in a row, and I had to take like the next 3 days off. It was just I had nothing. It was
I think I did 7 one week, but my role was Marcello was not as challenging as yours.
It's 7 in a row. Like it's a lot.
A lot, yo.
Anyway, so we had 3 Rodolfos, 3 Mimis, and we had 2 Marcellos and 2 Musettas. And so it was really kind of like roll the dice of who was going to go on which night.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked that.
It was a lot of the rehearsals were the most fun.
Yeah.
Where we literally just rolled the dice. It was like you, and you get up and do it, boop, and make an ensemble.
It was
and
so
make
much.
it believable.
God, what an amazing experience. We have, and David and I could talk for hours about Bohem. At least I could, but just the whole experience and the singularity of that experience, and everybody involved. Everybody was so game, so in, and all good people. You got Alvaro, who's huge now. Jesus is doing great. Everybody's doing so well. Has done so well after this. So, okay, I want to talk to you about what you've got coming up now, though. So you and Sarah Joy have released a new single of O Suave Fanciulla from La Boheme, and it brought back such amazing memories just listening to it and hearing your voice and hearing Sarah Joy and everything. So tell us about how you came up with this idea and what it's doing.
Well, it was an outgrowth of, you know, what has happened with COVID, and obviously it's impacted everyone, and the stay-at-home orders is across the board, you know, proving financially challenging for everyone. But there's an additional component that happens for artists, for actors, musicians, dancers. And people who work in the theater, is that we do not have another option in terms of supplementing our income. You have you know, businesses where you can work from home. You can dial in, you can Zoom in, you can do whatever the business is that you do, and you can continue to function. But without those audiences and without the theaters and with stay-at-home orders, everyone is just, their income has just come to a grinding halt.
Grinding.
So, you know, I was trying to figure out how can I use some of my position and visibility through that I've gained through, excuse me, jalapenos. Okay, I'll wait till I'm done talking and have more guacamole.
There you go.
To use kind of this visibility that I've gained through Il Divo, which is like, you know, something that I could never have imagined happening when I was in La Boheme. I mean,
your fans are amazing. They're all signing in and saying things here. You have the most amazing fans.
I do. Yeah. We have people all over the world. I know there's people in Japan who woke up early.
Right. Thank you guys so much.
And, you know, people in the UK who are waiting to go to bed because they're watching this, and in Europe, it's amazing. Thank you all. First of all, thank you all for showing up and watching this. It really means a lot to me that you would be here to support this.
Well, it speaks to you and your hard work, and it also it speaks to how much you mean to them, which is really, really cool.
Well, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing without them. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's a symbiotic relationship between the performer and the audience.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think back to the days of La Boheme, and I remember, you know, that 5th floor walk up in the East Village that I was living in, very much like Rodolfo in his garret.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, even being a Broadway star, was living paycheck to paycheck. And making it, like, literally having, you know, a fistful of dollars at the end of the month to, you know, because I was making ends meet.
Yeah.
Starring on Broadway. So, you got to think about, that led me to think about, all the people who are maybe off Broadway, off Broadway, regional theater. And the thing with the Actors Fund, there've been some interesting comments around this. And even Rosie O'Donnell was saying the same thing. She was on with Seth Meyers the other night. She has an initiative for the Actors Fund as well, and getting the similar type of comments. And the comment is, well, why should I care about these rich actors? Why should I? Don't they have savings funds? Why do I want to spend my money on these actors who are already rich? And what I think a lot of people don't take into account is that the Actors Fund services so many people across so many genres. I mean, it's dance, it's musicians and singers, it's actors, it's TV, it's film, and it's not just the people out front. It's all the people who are behind the scenes as well, the costume designers and department and wardrobe, the lights, the riggers, the union, the stagehands, stage management. All of these people all depend on their livelihoods depend on whoever for every Pavarotti who's out there, there's at least 100 people behind supporting that person out front. In Il Divo, we have a crew that travels with us, but we also pick up crew on the ground local. We pick up local orchestras. And all of these people can't do anything.
And it's not even just now, it's going to be a long time, David. Like, I'm worth looking at Broadway at least, and I don't see anything on Broadway happening for at least the next 6 to 8 months, at least.
I think there's obviously a lot of instability right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nobody knows what the future is going to hold. I did see something semi-encouraging. I heard that in Spain, they are looking to reopen things somewhat, and they're looking to potentially open theaters with an audience of no more than 30.
Oh, wow.
And, you got to start somewhere.
Well, yeah, but like for Broadway, the economics of that just don't work. You just can't. Nope. You can't produce shows and have a half-empty house. That's when shows close.
Yep.
So I think it's fantastic what you've been doing. And what sparked the idea? Like, what did you and Sarah Joy just want to sing this together? And then you're like, well, what can we do? Or did the idea benefit somebody come first?
The idea was, first and foremost, how can we help?
Yeah.
We are Il Divo, and everything that's been so amazing about that has, created a situation where we can be of service.
Opportunity
in our industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was question number one. And so we started doing research about different organizations that we could potentially create some sort of give back situation. And the Actors Fund really stood out and kind of was, because they help it's such a long time. It's huge. Yeah. And they've been around forever. They've been around since the Civil War.
Wow.
Which is like, if any of you who are watching, go to actorsfund.org and look at their history page. It's fascinating because
it's also like which we participated in when you were on Broadway, the Phyllis Newman Women's Health Initiative, which goes to women's cancer and helping them pick up not only like treatments and everything, but things that fall by the wayside, like getting them to and from the hospital or to and from medical appointments, getting them food in their pantry because they can't work or they can't do this. It's an amazing organization that has a lot of little smaller organizations within it.
Absolutely. And
so I think choosing that was a very, very wise thing.
Yeah, and they like you said, they have so many programs under this umbrella to help kind of everybody who's out front on the stage, everyone who's behind the scenes, below the line. They're just trying to take care of everybody in the arts. It's an arts program, really. Yeah. More than it's the Actors Fund for everyone in entertainment. It's a very long and cumbersome slogan, but it's true.
Yeah.
So we wanted to figure out a way to, how can we assist them assisting other people? And I have this album that was coming out that is going to come out, a Revolution, and the duet from La Boheme is on Act 1. And so I just thought, well, let's create a situation where we can give this away for people who make donations.
That's
And so
awesome.
my sister Deb and myself, we created a portal page on bohemisphere.com where, and it says there up in the navigation bar, if you go to bohemisphere.com, it's cumbersome, BOHEMISPHERE.com.
We'll both put it in our profiles on our Instagram page.
Yes.
So if you need to look at this up, we'll put it in our profiles.
Yes. So there's a page on there, the Actors Fund page. You click on that, and it takes you to a donations page. And you can choose any denomination that you want. $2 is the kind of suggested minimum, but you can obviously, if you have the means and desire, you can donate as much as you want. And
tax deductible too. It's tax deductible. So
tax deductible, yes, it is. And once you click on it, and it's credit card payment, and we also do offer the option of rounding up because the credit card companies, they do charge a service fee. It's just part and parcel of having a process like this.
Sure.
So if you want to round up so that your process fee is covered, we also offer that as an option. And once you click on donate, then your money goes to the Actors Fund. We never see it. And then an email comes to you with a promotional coupon that you can go to the bohemisphere.com store and redeem for the track. And then you'll be able to download the track to your desktop and play it on whatever device you want.
that's fantastic. That's really cool that you did that. Where did you guys record it?
We recorded the orchestrations were recorded the Czech National Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah.
They were our orchestra for that. And then we did the vocals in Brooklyn in a place called Bridge Studios.
Nice. Very cool. And then what do you, just to get back to me, Hand of Bridge. So you're thinking about releasing that on Bohemisphere as well?
Yes. So that'll probably be the first thing that once this campaign comes to a close,
yeah,
people are starting to go back to work and theaters open back up. Somewhere maybe June, July, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. We'll put Hand of Bridge up there.
Right.
Then people can get a hold of that there. And then after that, that's when we'll put Act 1 from Revolution out.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, we're going to get cut off in about 10 minutes here, but in this time, I want to get as many of your amazing fans' questions answered.
Yeah, questions.
So, questions other than when are you coming to our country or anything like that? Because I don't think David has any idea when that's going to be possible. So I'm sure he would love to give you a definite answer, but I'm going to.
Well, I will. I'll give a definite answer. The definite
Yes.
answer is for every single country. When are you coming back to that country? The answer is soon.
Yes, exactly. When possible. When possible.
Yes, as soon as possible. We promise. We
But
promise.
does anybody have any questions for David in particular, or about like what he's doing now, what he wants to do? Fire away. This is your time right now. I'm hitting as many as we can in the next 10 minutes here.
Okay. Is there a delay between when we?
There is. When you see him and when we can. Yeah, it comes back a little late too.
All right.
I want somebody asked this. Has Il Divo thought about doing like a Instagram thing together or something? It would be hard on Instagram, but like a Zoom or something like that.
Well, we have one coming up tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you for leading me into that. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, so an hour before this one started.
Yes.
The four of us are getting together on Facebook Live, and we will be chatting again, kind of State of the Union address and taking questions. And we have a little surprise that we've prepared.
Amazing.
Yeah. So tomorrow on Facebook Live, Il Divo, we will be there. We hope you join us for that as well.
Oh, fantastic. David, how did your bread turn out?
The bread turned out, I'm gonna go get it. Okay. Yeah. Put it in a little bag. This is 1/2 of Sarah Joy's sourdough loaf. Look at those. Look at those.
Look at those air pockets.
Look at those pockets. That's
Yeah.
how it's supposed to be. Look at that.
That's amazing, man.
There's only
Oh,
one half of it left because I've had the other one and a half.
so amazing. Hold on, I got a question coming up here. Ben, did you keep the Marcello caulking gun? No, I didn't keep the gun. I have one painting.
You have the painting.
I don't know where it is now, to be honest.
Oh no! Do you have like a storage unit or something?
No, I don't know where it might be with my mom somewhere.
Oh,
I don't know.
I hope you still have that.
I know. I used to do a new painting every night. In the beginning, the opening scene, I would do this like splatter art painting. I wish I would have kept one. That would have been fun.
It was so good. And
I wish I would have kept that long leather jacket.
Oh, that was a cool jacket.
That was a cool ass jacket.
That was a very cool jacket. I miss that show.
Wait,
Babs,
so
when are you bringing that show back?
Il Divo let me ask this: how many times have people seen Il Divo in concert? For everybody that's online here, shout out times it's been there. We're waiting because there's going to be a delay now. Of course.
We'll see that in a second. I did see a question just came up that
Yeah.
someone said they are hesitant about donating because of fraud protection, et cetera, et cetera. The site that we use is called Donately, and we've integrated that directly personally as a one-off standalone page on bohemisphere.com through Donately, which is a secure portal using a Stripe service, which is a secure credit card trusted company for the Actors Fund. The money goes straight to the Actors Fund. We have tested it thoroughly, and you have my personal guarantee that the money will go to the Actors Fund.
That answers that. Okay, wait. We got answers.
I saw one said 4.
I've seen it over 100 times.
Who? Yes, I think I know who that is. I didn't see it go by, but yes, over 100 times.
Oh shoot! Wait, you froze. It was so many times you froze. Adriana has seen it 3 times.
8 times.
Chantal has 14 times. Dave's UK Diva 25. Il Divo Love 100.
Yep.
3, 39, and 6 booked. 4 times. How many times have I seen you? I think I've seen you twice.
I think you've seen it
14 twice. Oh wow, that's amazing. 8 times.
Someone asked the question if I've seen the Tiger King. Let me ask you, did you see Tiger King?
No, I won't watch it.
Yes, I have seen Tiger King. It is the craziest shit I have ever seen in my life.
I won't do it. I won't be a party to that.
Someone
Wait. I got my wait. I know this is for him, but I cut my hair, Paige cut my hair today. Look at how well she did.
That is pretty smooth, my friend.
It's pretty damn fly. You should have seen it before. It was an afro. I get really curly hair. It was an afro. Have you cut your hair? Did Sarah Joy cut it?
I did cut my hair. That was the last time I cut it was on my birthday. I guess I'm gonna cut it again before tomorrow's Facebook.
Would you ever just go at it?
I did that once. I was in a production of Pearl Fishers where they really wanted to do the whole like
I've seen pictures of that.
Have you?
I think I have.
It was this weird production where they just wanted it to look like all Buddhist monk and stuff, and even to the point like then so they had me shave my head entirely, and I was wearing these kind of black Buddhist monk look. I kind of looked more like a Jedi than a Buddhist monk, but even to the point where like I had very browning makeup because it takes place on a Polynesian island, and I think it's Polynesian.
That would never play nowadays, David. By the way, you can never do that.
What's that?
You can never paint yourself brown and do that now.
You can't do that anymore. Can't do that anymore.
But
I went so far as to put in brown contact lenses as well. That was the director was like, she was so method. You have to be 100% in it. And it took me to get brown contact lenses. But no, I'm not really fond of the bald look. That being said, I don't want to give anything away, but in an upcoming artistic project of mine, it will feature a shaved David head.
Amazing. Well, David, we're going to run out of time here, but I just wanted to thank you. Is there anything else you want to say? So bohemisphere.com. I'll put it in my profile. You can put it in yours too. I'm sure it's in there.
Yep.
But and you can go and make a donation, get the link so you can get the O Suave Fanchula Look for a Hand of Bridge
Yep.
coming out
Yep.
on Bohemian Beer, and your album to follow.
Yep. That.
And they can get you guys on Facebook Live tomorrow.
And Facebook Live tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern.
It was so great to see you, man. I miss you.
So good to see you. I miss you. You kept firing all these questions at me. I didn't get a chance to ask you anything.
Not about me.
I'm gonna have to have you on my show. I'm gonna have to
I
have you
talk
on.
about myself plenty. Believe me.
I'm gonna have you on Breadworks, and we're gonna make some.
Oh my God, I would love that. All right, give your wife my love.
I will do.
All right.
Thank you,
Take care,
everybody, for tuning in.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you so much. Mwah.
Bye bye.